Right, let's talk more about what's going on as far as Google is concerned and the shuttering of Google+. Joining me now, Shelly Palmer. He's the CEO of the Palmer Group. Great to have you with us.
Nice to be here.
Talk to me about the details, because we were talking about this earlier with Google+. Not just the shuttering of this part of the business, but the data breach.
So they found out about it in 2015. They let everybody kind of know about it in March.
What do you mean kind of know?
Well, it didn't, according to my friends at Google, it didn't meet the threshold for a client notification or a consumer notification. They have specific security thresholds, and if a breach, gets to that level, they have to tell everybody. But if they don't, they don't. And so their contention is they didn't.
Are they arbitrary per company? You have your own metrics for when indeed you should be telling people that their data's been breached.
There are standards the industry has set. They're all self-policed, and it's all by company by company. Clearly, this is not the issue. The issue is, in light of Facebook's data breach and Cambridge Analytica and just the general techlash, people are a little more up in arms. Google says no, none of this data was abused or misappropriated or done anything with. They say they're pretty sure of it. Most security experts will tell you, yeah, they're Google, they might know, but you can never really be sure. It
was a glitch in the system that basically allowed third-party app developers to see certain parts of data. So it's a difficult one again, isn't it? But as you say, and you called it the techlash here, everybody right now is very sensitive about privacy. When you look at what we've seen, and we've seen the Facebook breach in the last couple of weeks and the 72-hour notice window that they provided to the Europeans, and they told them, is that an argument for the European regulations working and perhaps something that we should see here in the United States? You're shaking your head already.
No, we need to have a serious discussion about what data privacy is in the 21st century. It's separate from the concept of privacy, because we need to share a certain amount of data for the quality of our enjoyment of the internet and the digital environments we've created. And if we don't, you're going to end up in a very irrelevant world with a lot of noise, way more noise than you want. Also, I think if you overregulate, what's going to happen is actually Google, Facebook, and all the data-rich companies will prosper unbelievably, because it will put a barrier to entry for smaller companies to come in who can't amass that much data, right? Because the more GDPR-type regulations there are, the less likely you are to be able to get that going.
So actually it stems competition, it doesn't help
I believe so. I believe so.
Should we just get paid for our data? I mean, Facebook isn't free.
No,
We're effectively paying with our data here.
That is correct. It's a currency. The currency of attention, we pay with it. Look, if there was a way to have a personal data locker and you could actually get paid for the data that was used, that would be great. There are many things about that theoretically that are good. The bad news is when all your data is in one place, it's super easy to hack. So, again, we need a serious discussion about what this means, because it is not well defined. How much privacy do you want, and how off the grid could you be before you'd be like too far off the grid? That's a good conversation to have.
We've seen some pressure on Facebook stock in particular as a result of the techlash, and we'll continue to call it that. But, I make this argument quite often, and I'll make it with you too, that until we see advertisers looking at the likes of Google, looking at Facebook and going, you know what, we'll go to some of the smaller guys and increase competition. The business model's not broken, and as many people can go, you know what, I'm going to delete Facebook and I'm going to go to another Facebook app like Instagram, these guys can continue. So
they're going to continue. Scale is immense. If you think about the scale of Google, they have 7 operating divisions that have over 1 billion logins a month. Facebook's in the billion range. These are massive numbers. They're bigger than the television industry. They're bigger than the media industry. You get a rating on a show like this, it's a number. You can get a video on social media to dwarf the numbers we're going to do this morning, and a single tweet could have 100 million more viewers than any TV show. So
how do you know?
It just could.
Let's not predict.
It just could.
What do you think of the portal? Because Facebook has announced that it's going to try and get access to people's homes. And when you're talking about, 1.3 billion consumers that are using Facebook, what do you make of this? Speaking of power.
Mark Zuckerberg puts a piece of tape over the camera in his laptop, but he wants to put a camera in my house. Let me think about that for a little while and get back to you.
Not loving that.
You know what? It's harmless. I'm willing to do it with Amazon. I'm probably willing to do it with Google. I'm probably willing to do it with Apple. If Facebook thinks that they have something to offer, I certainly would love to see the offering.
What is the tech story that we aren't talking about enough that you think is going to be a huge driver going forward?
We probably need to understand what 5G is going to do to the world, because the idea of disintermediating that much cable infrastructure and changing what it means to have a wireless device and the kind of speeds you can interact with from the factory floor all the way to self-driving cars and, of course, media. It's a different world if there is a robust 5G presence. It's a few years away. Verizon just launched.
We spoke to the CEO.
So let's find out. If it's real, it changes almost everything.
Wow, fascinating. And we'll revert back and come talk about that story again.
I look forward to it.
Shelly Palmer, thank you so much for joining us on the show.